Alright folks, this is Brad again. I just wanted to make a quick video as to why I personally went vegan and my story. For me there was no one particular thing. It was a series of events over close to 20 years. So probably the first thing that happened was when I was a kid I read Charlotte's Web. And I loved the book, and it really had an effect on me. I also watched the movie about 100 times. It was my favorite movie when I was a kid. So I read the book, watched the movie, and if you've never seen Charlotte's Web, or if you've never read the book, essentially what happens is this piglet is about to be killed because it's the runt of the litter, and the main character, I think her name is Fern, she saves the pig from being killed and raises it as her pet. This is basically the gist of the book. Charlotte's Web by E.B. White, if you haven't read it. That was probably the first thing to kind of plant the seeds in my mind. The next thing that happened was in 1993 or 1994, I was 8 or 9 years old, and my father took me to a farm in Killingworth, Connecticut. And he told me that they were going to kill a pig, and we were going to end up getting some of the meat eventually. Now, I had already read Charlotte's Web at that point, so I knew what it entailed. I realized that I was going there to witness possibly a pig murder, even though I was, only 8 or 9 years old. I didn't realize it was wrong completely. But anyway, what happened is, in my mind, I saw them taking out a gun and shooting the pig in the head, and that was it, pretty quick and painless. But what really happened was quite a shock to me, and I didn't cry or flip out or anything. I think my mind was still open enough when I was just absorbing everything without judgment. So what they did was they took the pig, tied a rope to his hind leg, hoisted the rope over the limb of a tree, hoisted the pig upside down, and then this guy, essentially stuck a knife in the pig's throat and ran it up towards his mouth, or ran it down towards, I don't know how they do it. I don't really want to know. But I watched it happen, and I watched the pig bleed out and squeal for about 30 seconds until he was just kind of wriggling and couldn't squeal anymore. And I remember it like it was yesterday. But strangely enough, I didn't go vegetarian. I guess I didn't realize that was an option. I came from a meat-eating family, and I didn't really realize that there were other options. I thought food was meat and meat was food. So that was in 1993, 1994. Fast forward again till 2005 when I read Fast Food Nation by Eric Schlosser. And that was a huge piece of the puzzle for me. After reading Fast Food Nation, I almost completely stopped eating beef. I didn't go vegetarian, but I almost completely stopped eating beef. I now had a good understanding of what happens in slaughterhouses and what actually goes into creating beef on the market. So after 2005, after reading Fast Food Nation, I did start eating a lot less meat. Almost completely gave up beef entirely, at least for a couple of years. But I did still continue to eat meat. It got to the point where I probably had vegetarian meals. I probably even had vegan meals. I might even have had entire vegan or vegetarian days. Not on purpose, just because I was eating less meat, and that just kind of happened. But I didn't go vegan or vegetarian for the first time until 2011, towards the end of 2011, when I was reading Steve Pavlina's blog at stevepavlina.com. And I went raw vegan for a month. I believe it was August to September of 2011. I had never even gone vegetarian at that point. Actually, I take it back. When I was a kid, sometime after the pig incident, I did try going vegetarian. I believe it lasted for less than 24 hours. I was a kid. I was living with my family, and my family cooked and ate meat, so I ended up doing that as well. I didn't realize I had options. So in 2011, I went raw vegan for a month. I really enjoyed it, but what happened was I kind of got sick of my staple food, which was bananas. So after maybe a week or two, maybe 2 weeks, I got sick of the bananas, and after that my calorie consumption really dropped off. So I did go raw vegan for a full month before I'd ever even gone vegetarian. I went raw vegan for 1 month, and it worked. I did it for the full month, but I also lost about 20-25 pounds, a lot of which was muscle. And I don't think it was necessarily because I wasn't getting enough protein per se, as I was probably only eating about 1,200 calories a day. And I'm 6'3" at the time, 200 pounds, 1,200 calories just doesn't cut it. So I went raw vegan 2011. I went back to eating meat after that. I did a full 40 or 45 days as vegan. 30 days as raw vegan and an additional 10 to 15 days as vegan. And I went back to eating meat after that. And it wasn't until May 4th of 2012 where I finally went vegetarian for a 90-day trial. I went vegetarian for a 90-day trial. And I anticipated that it would probably be a 50-50 chance that I would start eating meat again. And you know what? I never did. I made one mistake on my third or fourth day. I ate a half a can of clam chowder till I realized what I was doing, and I threw the rest out. But after that, I never ate meat again. After 7 months, I went vegan. I was vegan for a year, and then I went back to vegetarian for a little while. I don't want to assign blame elsewhere, but a huge part of it was because I was dating a woman that ate meat. And I'll get into that in my next video. So yeah, I went vegetarian for a while, and now I'm back to full vegan. I'll admit that I haven't been back to full vegan for very long at this point right now as I'm filming this video. But I am back, and that's what matters, and I'm happy to be back. And even when I was vegetarian, I was still mostly vegan. I've explained in one of my last videos, I was eating maybe a cup of cottage cheese a day. And that was it. Aside from that, I was almost entirely vegan. Occasionally I would have yogurt or something, but not very often. So now I'm back to full vegan, and I've got at least 12 months of experience with being vegan, entirely vegan, under my belt. So I think that'll help me keeping it up indefinitely from here on out. So thanks for listening. Have a good day.